Picture a warm, quiet June evening in 1912, the small town of Villisca, Iowa. People know each other. Windows are open. Kids play outside. Trust is the default. At 508 East 2nd Street stands a modest wooden house, home of the Moore family. That night, parents Josiah Moore, 43, and Sarah Moore, 39, their 4 children and 2 visiting girls from church settle in for bed after attending a service together. By morning, something terrifying is discovered. 8 people are brutally murdered, all victims of an axe, in their own home. No one hears a scream. No one sees a trace. The horror of what happened still echoes over 100 years later. The victims that fateful night were Josiah Moore, father, 43, Sarah Moore, mother, 39, their 4 children, Herman Moore, 11, Mary Catherine Moore, 10, Arthur Boyd Moore, 7, Paul Moore, 5. 2 visiting girls, Ina Mae Stillinger, 8, Lena Stillinger, 12. The Moore family was prominent and respected in Villisca. Josiah owned a hardware and implement store. Sarah was active in the local Presbyterian church. On that Sunday, the Moore children and their friends attended the church's Children's Day program, then returned home together, unaware of the horror awaiting them. That evening, the house looked like any other, but by dawn of June 10, 1912, innocence ended. Based on the investigation, the timeline seems to go like this. The family and visiting girls returned from church around 9:45-10 p.m. Sometime after midnight, between late Sunday night and early Monday morning, a killer entered the house, most likely through an unlocked door or window, as there were no clear signs of forced entry. The assailant carried their own axe, or perhaps used the family's, and began systematically killing the occupants while they slept. The murder was vicious, swift, silent. The victims suffered severe head wounds, inflicted while they lay unconscious in bed. After killing the parents and children, the attacker even murdered the 2 visiting girls in the guest bedroom. Bear in mind, all 8 bodies were found in beds. There was reportedly no sign of a struggle. Then, shockingly, the murderer lingered. Investigators found a half-eaten meal, a basin with bloody water, suggesting the killer washed up, and animals were reportedly fed the next morning, evidence that the killer calmly remained inside the home for hours after the slaughter. Every mirror in the house had been covered with cloth or clothing, as if the killer didn't want to see their reflection. Windows and curtains were closed or covered. A dimly lit lamp, with its chimney removed and wick turned low, suggests the murderer moved carefully in near darkness. No valuables were taken. Money, jewelry, all left untouched. This wasn't a robbery. This was something dark, personal, and ritualistic. Morning of June 10th, 1912. The family didn't come out to feed animals or tend chores. A neighbor, Mary Peckham, growing worried, knocked. No answer. Door locked. She summoned Josiah's brother, Ross Moore, who had a spare key. What greeted them inside was horror beyond imagination. Blood-soaked mattresses, bodies covered with sheets in several rooms, the axe leaning against the wall in the guest room. 8 lives, brutally ended. But before police could secure the scene, hundreds of townspeople flooded the house, drawn by morbid curiosity. Many trampled potential evidence. Some even took souvenirs. Skull fragments belonging to victims were reportedly taken by visitors. The crime scene was contaminated. Evidence irretrievably lost. This catastrophic failure turned one of America's worst mass murders into one of its greatest mysteries. Authorities launched a major investigation, interviews, trace searches, statements. But they faced huge obstacles. The house had been overrun before being sealed, physical evidence contaminated or destroyed. Forensic science in 1912 was primitive. No blood spatter analysis, no DNA, no relevant fingerprint database. Investigators had only rudimentary tools. Motive unclear. Nothing was stolen. The Moore family was respected and prosperous, so robbery, revenge over debt, or ordinary crime didn't fit. Within weeks, the case went cold, though suspicion landed on several individuals. Over the decades, multiple suspects and theories emerged, but none yielded a conviction. Reverend George Kelly, the traveling preacher. He attended the church service the Moore family and girls attended that night. He left town early the next morning. Later, he confessed, claiming divine instruction compelled him to kill, then recanted. He was tried twice. First trial ended in a hung jury, second in acquittal. Many believe his confession stemmed from mental instability rather than guilt. At 5'2" and about 119 lbs, many doubted whether he physically could commit the full-scale murder. Still, the elements line up in a chilling way. He knew the church program, could have watched the family, perhaps followed them home, waited until they slept, then unleashed terror. Business rivalry and hired hitman. Frank Jones and William Blackie. Mansfield. Frank Jones, a local politician and hardware store owner, previously employed Josiah Moore. Moore later opened his own competing store, cutting deep into Jones's business. Some investigators speculated Jones could have hired a hitman to eliminate Moore and his family. A candidate for that hitman, William Mansfield, also nicknamed Blackie, a former soldier and ex-convict. He was suspected in the Villisca case and later tied to other axe murders. In 1916, he was arrested on suspicion, but payroll records placed him elsewhere at the time of 1912 murders, giving him a strong alibi. He was released for lack of evidence. Despite the alibi, suspicions remain, in part because multiple similar axe murders had occurred across Midwestern states in preceding years. Same MO, same lamp under chair pattern, covered mirrors, windows, families attacked at night. Serial killer theory, the railroad axe murders. In 2017, authors revived interest in a broader theory, that the Villisca murders were part of a series of interconnected axe murders committed by a transient, possibly a drifter riding railroads, perhaps the man known as Paul Muller. The crimes ranged across several states, always striking rural families at night, using blunt weapons, covering mirrors, leaving lamp setups, and disappearing. Supporters of this theory argue that the killer may have been experienced, comfortable with violence, familiar with rural homes, calculating and ruthless. Villisca could have been his final, or at least most infamous, strike before vanishing forever. The house where the murders occurred is still standing, the historic Villisca Axe Murder House at 508 East 2nd Street. After decades of changes, new owners in the 1990s painstakingly restored it to its 1912 appearance. No modern plumbing, no renovation, just as it was the night the murders happened. Today it operates as a museum and paranormal tourism site. Many visitors who stay overnight report strange experiences, unexplained noises, feelings of being watched, strange voices, flickering lights, adding a chilling layer of ghost stories to an already horrific crime. The Villisca Axe murders continue to grip public imagination. They feature in books, documentaries, podcasts, and even horror movies. People still debate who did it and why. Every year, new researchers pore over old records, hoping to find something, anything, that might finally close the case. Because some things never fade. 8 lives snuffed out in a single night. A brutal crime. A community shattered. And yet, no one held accountable. We may never know all the horrors that unfolded that June night. We may never know who wielded the axe or why. But as long as we remember, as long as we tell the story, the victims live on in memory. If you believe you know who might have done it, share your theory in the comments. And if you want more deep dives into history's darkest mysteries, hit subscribe and stay with us. Because sometimes the night whispers secrets, if we only listen.